Sony A7RV. I use this for portrait photography, and when I'm doing portrait photography, I put this vertical. I don't do horizontal, I put it vertical for portrait photography. And what I've been using is Arca Swiss tripod head. And I just got this little base plate, tripod base plate, put it on there, and then put this onto my tripod. It goes vertical. Problem is that I use, when I'm traveling and I do some travel portrait photography, it's a lighter tripod, not heavy. And then the camera ends up being the heaviest thing because I use bigger lenses for portraits, pretty heavy lenses for portraits. So putting all the weight on this little base plate here with that little 1/4-20 screw, I've had problems. I've tightened this as tight as I can make it, and it still loosens over time because when you're doing portrait photography, I don't know how you do portrait photography, but when I do it, I have different heights, different body types that I need to adjust to while I'm doing portrait photography. So I will always have my hand on the hand grip, adjusting to get the perfect angle, and then I lock in the ball mount of the tripod. But every time I do this, the movements, I loosen the base plate, and it just becomes a bad thing for me. And I don't know how long, I don't know if this is a good way to do it, to really tighten it up. So I got some camera cages for this to make the whole portrait photography vertical shooting easier. So I have two products in this video I'm gonna review. This one is, and they're both from Smallrig. This is the L shape when you don't have a battery grip. And then I got one for the battery grip because I also have a battery grip. And I don't always use a battery grip for my portrait photography. I've been just using a AC-DC converter dummy battery, and I don't necessarily need it. Unless I want to shoot this way, but I'm going to test out both in this video. We'll start with this one right here. Okay, pretty simple. You have a rubberized bottom. Here's your 1/4-20. Do you have a little screw here, flathead screw? And then on the base, you also have a rubberized material. So it looks like it converts to an L bracket. So you have it right normal, so you don't have to use it with an L bracket. And I think you just push the button, the release button here, and then it locks in to an L bracket. Clip that back in, and there you go. There's the bottom base plate version of the Smallrig. Now it does look like it comes out right here. So I don't know if I would keep this on the camera all the time because you have that extension. But now I have an Arca Swiss, put the Arca Swiss here. I'm able to access the battery door. Yep. Looks pretty good. And then when I want to do vertical shooting, I do the push release. Lock. Oh, is it locked? I think this got in the way here. Yeah, there you go. So it looks like it does go flush with the whole camera side, and that's locked in. Do I have access to any of these ports anymore? No, I lose access to all the ports. Can't open the ports anymore on the side. And then I lock this in vertical, and there you go. That's what I'll get. So by doing it this way, I have a much sturdier control of the camera, and I won't wear out the threads, the 1/4-20 threads. But as a con, I lose all these ports. So this might be an issue because I do shoot tethered. And when I'm shooting tethered, I use the USB port here for my tethering. And that's the USB port. Does this close? Nope. Okay, that's going to be I'm going to have to remove this in order to access the tethering. Here's the cage. Comes with the tools on the bottom, Arca Swiss here. I was wondering what these extra pieces were because they already have some here, and that's because this one, I believe, is meant for the version 5, And then this one right here, they even labeled it. It says this is for the A7 Mark IV. So if you have an A7 Mark IV, this could still work because apparently they're the same dimensions. But I had to remove the D-rings, which that's one of my other complaints about Sony. I wish Sony got rid of this whole D-ring thing because I think this is a silly design. I just want the D-ring, like I want the rings already built in, so you don't need this kind of little piece of metal. Wow, that took way longer than I thought it would take. But I finally have this Smallrig cage on the A7RV with the grip. This is what it looks like. I sort of like it, but then I can see how Smallrig, by trying to make this compatible with multiple bodies, it looks like they compromise. It's not a perfect fit on the R5. It's functional and it seems fine, but one of the annoying things of putting this on is that on each side of where the D-rings used to be, the camera strap D-rings, that's where you screw it in. But you can see here there's another piece. There's this piece that you can swap out with other pieces like this to fit different camera bodies. And you have one on either side. This was the hardest, most annoying parts to screw in and out. Because when I got this, it shipped with this one. But it had these other ones that it needed to be on. This one said, I thought this was only for the A7 IV, but this also fits the A7 V. So this one looks like it's for the S3 or something like that. But I had it came with these, so I had to undo these and put in these. And just the fact of swapping them took me about 10 minutes. But now that I have it out, I won't have to go through that process again. But just that was annoying. The other thing is this tool is good. It's fine. It works for both the nut here on where the D-rings used to be, camera strap, and then it also has a flat head. That's fine. But there's not enough. This is like the bare minimum of a tool. But I'm glad it has it. And then looking at the way this is designed. So on the bottom, here's the Arca Swiss. And it looks like there's a huge lip. You can see here, it really comes out of the frame. It's not as tight to the frame as I would like it to be over here. And even here, you can see the battery grip here. It protrudes. So when you have it vertical and you're holding it, it is a big width difference here. And it affects the way that the grip was even designed. So you can't really remove this, otherwise you compromise the integrity of the whole cage. But this is annoying right here. I don't like this. I think there's some screws here for an extension. Like I guess if you want to have a whole follow focus setup, maybe that's what it's there for. But for portrait photography, it really messes that up. And then on this side, everything seems to be okay. The holes here come out, so this is fine. So if you have any XLR adapters, if you're going to use this, say you're not going to use this for portrait photography, you're going to use this for video, then you have access to that for any of their hot shoe adapters. And then on the side, if you're curious, you do have access to all of the ports here. You can take out that port. Everything opens up. This does not affect any of that unless you have another accessory on the left side. And you can remove the battery door here for the grip. That's fine. And then you can fully articulate the LCD screen as long as you don't have any accessories here. And that seems okay. But that was a pain in the butt to take on and off. But now I have that on there. That's aligned. It feels pretty sturdy, but this is one of those situations where this cage, I like that it fits. It's not the perfect design, I think, for the R5. I hope there's another manufacturer out there or that comes up with a better design, but this was okay. for right now. And because it was very cumbersome to put on, I might just leave my camera in this. So between the other base plate, the pros and cons are, this one is great. And this is the one I would use most often because it's the easiest to mount on. But the way that the L bracket is designed, once you put the L bracket on, you lose all of the ports. Unless you remove the cover, somehow remove the cover, you lose all that. So that's the biggest con I see. But otherwise, I like this better than this whole rig. But you can't, if you want to use the battery grip, you got to use this one. That's why I got both. So I see pros and cons in either. They're not perfect. If I wasn't shooting tethered, then this is fine. When I do the L bracket, if I'm not shooting tethered and I don't have anything else going on, I don't need these ports, this might be perfect. But because when I do my portrait photographies, I shoot tethered, I'm probably going to use this setup and then just roll with it like this. And because I have the 2 batteries in there, it's going to last a longer time. And yeah, this is how it looks.